Hey guys, this is Al. It's Saturday, the 27th of November. Um, I'm here in front of my 96 Continental R. If people don't remember this car, I bought this maybe about 2 years ago. I bought this in 2018, I think, actually, come to think of it. Um, and it has a slight front end impact that I need to take care of. And I think I may have found somebody who's willing to take that job on. But maybe about a year ago or so, um, I just ran the car just to basically warm the engine and just make sure that the fluids keep going through. And we noticed a huge fuel leak, just basically a big puddle underneath the car. Luckily, nothing got warm and we shut the engine off, but it's been sitting where it's been sitting since then. So I figured it's time to basically start taking the car apart while it's, we've got some time off over the holiday and seeing what's going on. I may have gone about half an hour into it yesterday before I dropped a bolt and was ready to throw something through the windshield. So I stopped and I gave Vaughan a call, and he's basically tearing it into it because he's a little bit more patient than I am and a little bit more careful than I am. So I'm going to take over the camera, and I'm going to let him talk about what he's seeing so far. Okay. Go ahead, Vaughan.
All right, so this is the first time that I've done these O-rings before. I've torn into one of these to do thermostats and other vacuum hoses and whatnot, but I haven't gotten this far. But we're replacing the O-rings from these feed pipes that come off the fuel pressure regulators that go into each side of the fuel rail.
Hang on, let me just zoom
Maybe
into it so
it'll
you can see it.
Focus on
Put your finger on it, yeah.
on that pipe
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
You can see the bolt for it.
Right,
And that loops around to this hard line.
right.
It does the same thing from
Into the rubber line as well.
From here, you can
Uh-huh.
see that pipe leads to the other side of that fuel rail. There's one on this side.
Yeah.
I guess so all the fuel rails are fed evenly from the fuel pressure regulator.
Right, and it was this guy over there that was leaking.
Yeah, this had the huge, I mean, it was, there was a stream of it hitting this intercooler charge pipe.
Right, right.
And while we're in here, all of these hoses are hard as plastic, so we're going to find some good quality, suitable hose to replace these with, and also have these remade as well. These.
So there's 4 O-rings altogether that need to be replaced, and you know that you can't. If you get into it this much, you don't really want to replace just the one O-ring, because I guarantee you it's going to happen to another one pretty soon afterwards.
So we just don't know how far we're going to have to tear into this. I know for the one that's leaking, we can remove the top portion of this thermostat housing, order new gaskets for that. But access is kind of, it's hard to get to with all these intake runners. So
The intake runners have to come off for sure.
I'm assuming if you were to look at the service manual for removing something like a fuel rail, it would say you need to remove both of these manifolds, which require all of this to come off, all of these brittle hoses. So we might be able to sneak around it by removing some other things, but it is looking like we're really going to have to tear into this thing, most likely.
And the problem with this is everything's as hard as rock, so you've got to be super careful. That turbo solenoid over there, the wastegate solenoid,
Yeah, you can see that barb is broken
it's
off.
already broken off.
Somebody's tried to fix a couple things like that.
Yeah.
So what we want to, do the least intrusive thing possible to access these. So.
Yeah. So, basically, I didn't want to do this job because it's a pain in the rear, and I don't really have a very patient mannerisms when it comes to these cars, because everything is just really frustrating. It's you stop, then you have to order parts, and they have to come in from England, and it drives me crazy. So I farmed it out to Vaughan, who's very kind to come over this evening and help me with it. He's getting more and more into these Rolls-Royce and Bentley cars now. He's helping a couple of guys that I know. He's worked on a 97 Turbo RL. He's worked on I think an 89 Turbo R. And then there was another guy that got in touch about wheels that had a silver spirit or a silver spur in an early car. So he's getting more and more into them, and you know, if you're in DFW and you want to get your car worked on, you know, he's another option as well. But yeah, there we are. We're in it right now. I'll give you an update once we are at a point where we can either get it put back together, or once we put it back together. All right. Thanks very much.